measured in decibel unit intensity of sound? What is measured in decibel unit intensity of sound? What is measured in decibel unit intensity of sound? What should be the minimum distance between source of sound and the reflected surface so that the echo can be heard clearly? 16.6 meter. What is the velocity of sound in air? 343 meter per second. What is the velocity of sound in air? 343 meter per second. What should be the what is the velocity of sound in air? 343 meter per second. What is the velocity of sound in air? 343 meter per second. What is the velocity of sound in air? 343 meter per second. What is the velocity of sound in air? 343 meter per second. What is the velocity of sound in air? 343 meter per second. What is the velocity of sound in air? 343 meter per second. What is the velocity of sound in air? 343 meter per second. At 20 degrees Celsius, let's see, in cinema house is large syncosis. It is the sound is heard for sometime after the sound source is closed. What is the reason for this vibrations? According to the World Health Organization, a sound with intensity of 45 decibel is best suited for humans. According to the World Health Organization, a sound with intensity of 45 decibel is the best suited for humans. On the surface of the moon, two people cannot hear each other. What is the reason for this? The moon does not have an atmosphere. On the surface of the moon, two people cannot hear each other. What is the reason for this? The moon does not have an atmosphere. The moon does not have an atmosphere. What is the biological method called in which the ultrasonic sound is used? Sonography. What is the biological method called in which the ultrasonic sound is used? Sonography. What is the biological method called in which the ultrasonic sound is used? Sonography. Bats can fly in dark nights and can also hunt. What is the reason for this? They produce parasitic waves and guided by them. What will be the descending order of the velocities of sound, water, iron, and nitrogen? Nitrogen, hard. Iron, water. Yes. Nitrogen. Become nitrogen, water. Nitrogen is water, iron. Water and iron. The speed of a sound decreases when it passes from solid to gaseous state of a given medium. The speed of sound decreases when it passes from solid to gaseous state. A rustle of tree waves, 10 to 20 decibel. A rustle of tree leaves, 20 to 10 to 20 decibel. Rustle of tree leaves, 10 to 20 decibel. Rustle of tree leaves, 10 to 20 decibel. Simple conversation, 30 to 40 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 decibel. Fast talk, 50 to 60 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 decibel. Fast music noise, more than 80 decibel. More than 80 decibel. Simple conversation, 30 to 40 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 decibel. Fast talk, 50 to 60 decibel. Fast talk, 50 to 60 decibel. Fast music noise, more than 80 decibel. fast music noise more than 80 decibel. Fast music noise more than 80 decibel. Industrial equipment plant a factory 100 to 120 decibel. Industrial equipment plant a factory 100 to 120 decibel. Siren, police, ambulance or siren 110 to 120 decibel. Jet plane 140 to 150 decibel. Jet plane 140 to 150 decibel. What is the effect of temperature on the velocity of sound? The velocity of sound decreases as the temperature decreases. The velocity of sound decreases as the temperature decreases. The temperature decrease करेगा तो sound का velocity decrease करेगा. यानी velocity sound का velocity decrease करेगा तो उसका temperature decrease करेगा. Okay. Through which medium the sound cannot pass from the vacuum? From the vacuum. Through which medium the sound cannot pass from vacuum. Sound waves can travel in both solid and gas mediums, and the velocity of sound is the highest in metals. Sound waves can travel both solid and gas medium. Sound waves can travel in both solid and gas medium. Sound waves can travel in both solid and gas medium. Sound waves can travel in both solid and gas medium, and the velocity of sound is the highest in metal. Velocity of sound highest in metals. Velocity of sound highest in metals. Okay. Through which medium sound cannot pass from the vacuum. Sound waves can travel in both solid and gas medium, and the velocity of sound is highest in metal. Sound waves travel both solid and gas medium. Sound waves can travel both solid and gas medium, and the velocity of sound is highest in metal. And the velocity of sound is highest in metal. And the velocity of sound is highest in metals. And the velocity of sound is highest in metal. Velocity highest in metals. On what principle does the stethoscope work? On the principle of reflection of sound. On what principle does the stethoscope works? On the principle of reflection of sound. On what principle does the stethoscope works? On the principle of reflection of sound. On what principle the principle of reflection of sound. On the principle of reflection of sound. Stethoscope किस पे स्विच बनता है reflection of sound पे काम करता है. What is studied in acoustics sound? What is studied in acoustics sound? What is studied in acoustic sound? What is studied in acoustic sound? Which phenomenon cannot occur in sound waves? Polarization. Which phenomenon cannot occur in sound waves? Polarization. Which phenomenon cannot occur in sound wave polarization? On what factor does the string of sound depends on frequency? On what factor does the string of sound depends on frequency? What causes resonance? Reflection of sound waves. What causes resonance? Reflection of sound waves. What causes resonance? Reflection of sound waves. What is the frequency of ultrasonic wave? More than 20,000 Hz. What is the frequency of what is the frequency of ultrasonic waves? More than 20,000 Hz. What is the frequency of ultrasonic waves? More than 20,000 Hz. What is the frequency of ultrasonic waves? More than 20,000 Hz. What is the frequency of human audio waves? 20 to 20,000 hertz. What is the frequency of human audio waves? 20 to 20,000 hertz. What is the frequency of ultrasonic wave? More than 20,000 hertz. What is the frequency of ultrasonic wave? More than 20,000 hertz. Why are sound waves called mechanical waves? Sound waves require a medium to propagate to interact with the particles present in it. What is the portion of the medium called wave? A temporary increases in volume, consequently, the decreases in density takes place when sound waves passes through the medium. Refraction aluminum speed का sound का at 25 degrees Celsius तो 6420 मीटर पर सेकंड, स्टील में 59060 मीटर पर सेकंड, आयरन में स्पीड होता है 5950, ग्लास में स्पीड होता है 3980 मीटर पर सेकंड, वाटर में होता है 1402, एयर 343 मीटर पर सेकंड, ऑक्सीजन 360 मीटर पर सेकंड, हाइड्रोजन 286 मीटर पर सेकंड, सी वाटर 1533 मीटर पर सेकंड और नॉर्मल वाटर में 1493 मीटर पर सेकंड. What type of sound wave is produced by earthquake before sending shock wave which can be heard by animals like rhino and elephant? Infrasonic waves, where when the same tone is played on the sitar and the flute, the sound produced from them can be distinguished on the basis of sound quality. What measures the sound energy reaching each ear per second and depends on the amplitude of sound waves loudness. Pitch of the sound is determined by its frequency. Pitch of the sound is determined by its frequency. Loudness of sound is determined by amplitude. The phenomenon of repetition of sound of a source by reflection from the obstacle is called echo. Voice of man is heavy compared to women because men have longer vocal cords than women. What is the relationship between speed of the sound with respect to frequency and wavelength of a sound wave? The speed of sound is directly proportional to the frequency and wavelength. Flash and thunder are produced simultaneously, but the thunder is heard a few seconds after the flash is seen. Um, um, what is the reason? The speed of light is greater than the speed of sound in air, which produces vocal sound in humans. Larynx, the voice box. Which types of sound waves can be used to detect the cracks and flaws in metal blocks? Ultrasonic waves. Which type of sound waves are using echocardiography that can provide a moving picture of your heart? Ultrasound waves. The instrument used by doctor for getting images of the internal organ of the human body is called ultrasound scanner. Carpets put on the floor in concert or cinemas hall because to absorb sound and reduce reverberation. Person in room having curtain hear more clearly due to curtains are the bad reflector of sound. Which device is used to find depth of sea or locate the underwater things like underwater submarine sonar? Sound navigation used to detect undersea object. Use which type of wave? Ultrasound sound waves. The speed of an object that exceeds the speed of sound is called supersonic sound. Next, the air pressure due to the greater speed of the object than the speed of sound produces a very sharp and loud sound called sonic boom. The changes in frequency of any kind of sound produced by a moving source with respect to an observer is called Doppler effect. If sound wave propagate from one medium to another, then its speed and its wavelength changes, but its frequency remains constant. What is the effect on the velocity sound when it travels through denser material, the velocity of sound increases. What will be the effect of the wavelength, amplitude, intensity, and frequency of sound when temperature of the medium changes? Only wavelength of sound changes, but amplitude, frequency, intensity remains constant. Which phenomenon is used to detect the rotation of a star for tracking a moving object such as satellite from a reference point on the Doppler effect? What is the effect of speed of sound in the warmest days near ground surface? The speed of sound increases. The phenomenon in which impression of the original sound being prolonged is called reverberation. Speed of sound is maximum in solid, minimum in gases. In a medium, the speed of sound is independent of frequency. The changes in frequency of any kind of sound produced, thus changes in frequency of any kind of sound produced by moving sources with respect to observer is called Doppler effect. The changes in frequency of any kind of uh, sound produced by moving source with respect to observer is called Doppler effect. What is the effect of the velocity sound when it travels through denser material? The velocity of sound increases.